a lot of user interface or what you could have seen of the app. I do need to protect, obviously, my IP address, so I did want to blot that out a little bit. So sorry if it's a little bit blurry. But anyway, so this is the host. What you're going to do within the Python code is obviously put your host right there. It should be in a different GitHub file labeled, I believe it's Python communication. That's also on my GitHub, and that's also public. But as you can see right here, it defines do get, which if you're familiar with get and post, which you can see both right there, what that does is it basically gets it does exactly what it says. So it gets the response from another web address. Post is it sends something, or post. Post is just another handle request that they do. So get and post are both handle requests from as like a web server. So instead of just running a Python server, which has limited availability, I'm just doing HTTP server. And that's what I did for my Python code. If we go to the Android Studio code here, what we're going to see is a little bit of the same stuff that you saw on the Bluetooth as well. So the send picture task and the and that kind of thing has the exact same format. You do need to have the right authority here. So I did put that in the GitHub is you will need to put the right authority, which will be the .com example server.com file provider. So the file provider is going to be part of the app file, or the app, part of the app file. And then that takes the picture that I didn't get to as much, but this is where it actually works. So obviously, again, I'm just hiding my IP address, but what you'll do is you'll create a URL, and then the URL creates the connection. It opens the connection just as it did with the Bluetooth server as well. It'll open the address as well as the port. And then after it gets the address and the port, what it'll do is it will send hello world, and then it'll do message.get bytes. So it gets the bytes of hello world, and then it sends them out as bytes. And then the output stream flushes and closes to make sure that it's not stuck on there. I think if I believe right, the first iterations that I tried with my code, I actually didn't have these two methods on here. So what will happen if the output stream is just kind of left hanging, you just write the bytes and then you leave it open, is it will sometimes freeze your app because it's working a little bit too hard to try to send all of that through. So just as I discovered with Bluetooth, which unfortunately I didn't get to these next 2 weeks, Bluetooth does have a address and a port, and they both do need to close in order for it to work, which is why my Bluetooth app was freezing. Same thing with the Wi-Fi, so it does need to close towards a certain point. I'm working right now on a something that closes but then looks for the connection again. The other thing is with the Wi-Fi, it's already connected with the device in a certain different way, so it doesn't need to look. Same thing with Bluetooth, so I'm going to make it a little bit better, or a little bit easier for Bluetooth to connect with a device instead of trying to find it every time. But with the HTTP URL connection, it sends a response code, and the response code is the post and the get handlers. So they do need to have the response code as well. Let's see. Set request method. Sorry, this is where it is. It's the set request method. So connection.setRequest method, and then you put post there. I don't believe I used get because I'm going to use get for the pictures because that's a little bit longer of it's handling something that's a lot more bytes. So it's going to set the request method to post, though, just for sending the photo. And then for a get, it's going or just the same thing. It's going to send post with hello world. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with get yet then, because I thought that was but with post, it handles both the content length as well. So I believe there's access code right here that I was planning on tonight to get rid of because there are, with the picture at least, with sending picture towards the end, I thought it needed to like use stop so that it would read stop and it would stop using it. But Bluetooth is kind of like that, but with Wi-Fi, it can read the content length apparently a little bit better. So it reads the content length if it's a short amount, which I'll put down later. So like an if statement with the content length, then it'll read that just as text or text/plain. Otherwise, it's going to write that into a JPEG file. But that is the basics of my code, the Python and the Android app. I wish that I could have done a little bit more with the user interface with the Bluetooth and then connecting this with Bluetooth as well to make an app that works with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. But for now, this is what I have. It's a primitive app that just sends over data, hello world, over to the Python server. I did create, and I didn't get to show it because the methods aren't quite correct for Android yet that I did, but I do know that Wi-Fi pick send works. So this is like the Python server sending it over to Android Studio. That unfortunately is something I didn't get to as well. It was supposed to receive images, and it unfortunately these 2 weeks blew by, so wasn't able to get to it receiving the image bytes and converting that to bitmap and showing that as a JPEG to the Android Studio app. But hopefully I'll get you guys an update of where the code is going. Thanks for watching.